Hey guys, thank you so much for carving out some time. Tonight you could have been doing a million other things on your Monday night, but instead you chose to invest in yourselves and invest in your business. So I just want to say thank you and encourage you that the time you're going to spend tonight is well worth it. And it's mostly well worth it because of these two folks over here who are about to share so much of their hard-fought wisdom and experience in the marketplace. But really quick, I want to say I'm Will Acuff, and I am with Corner to Corner. Guys, this is Erin from Pathways. She is on their team, and she's the head of their marketing. Does a ton of work on all forms, traditional media, online, social media presence, video production, face shot, excellent photo taker. She did a little of that. I asked her to Photoshop all this. So I'm like, I want to look good. And guys, this is my friend Paul Hickey with Data-Driven Design. They're a web design development firm that focuses on not how you feel about something, but what does the data say about something? What does the data say about how it's reaching your intended marketplace? So without further ado, should I turn this mic off?
Yeah.
Awesome. Turn it over to you guys. Thanks, Will.
Paul, you want the clicker?
Yeah, sure. All right, thank you so much, Leslie and Will. Super excited to be here. I'm here for a few reasons. One, I'm really passionate about a lot of the stuff that Will talked about in terms of basically having the ability to take something that you're passionate about and turn it into something that can make a little bit of extra revenue. I've always had a side hustle of my own, and I was just telling Erin before we got started that I started my company a couple of years ago after about a decade doing web design and digital marketing and having several side hustles. I decided to go ahead and start my own company. So I'm here because I'm passionate about what you all are doing as like Will described Corner to Corner as a small, scrappy nonprofit. I would say we are a super small, scrappy for-profit. So Erin and I just want to provide as much value as we possibly can to you all tonight when we talk about Facebook ads, because I am passionate about anything that helps people like us with CEOs of small businesses that is a cost-effective tool. Much like I appreciate your attention tonight, Facebook is where the audience's attention is right now at a very low cost. So we hope that all the hours that Erin and I have spent in Facebook Ads Manager and Facebook Pages platform can translate over to getting you guys, however far along you are with that, can just kind of help take you to the next level. So here's some of the learning targets we're going to cover in terms of understanding Facebook for business, how, what, and when to post. We have a great exercise that Erin prepared in terms of writing a content calendar, so that'll be kind of a exercise that everyone can work on together and then get you guys starting to advertise on Facebook, or at least feeling confident in the idea of going in and creating some ads. So whatever you have or haven't done in Facebook, no judgment, any questions are welcome too. We'll have a Q&A towards the end. So I guess that's a good place to start, right? So who has a business page on Facebook right now? Just a quick show of hands. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So just about everybody, that's great. And then from a website standpoint, this is probably some value that Erin and I can share maybe in the Q&A or afterwards if you want to reach out to one of us. But who has a business website right now that you're able to update everything? Okay. Good, so not as many as have a Facebook page. Actually, the good news is, even though I'm in the web design and development business, Facebook Pages is an amazing content management system. So for no other reason than just having a place to showcase your business, you can actually use your Facebook page as a website because it has all the ability to have free video hosting. You can have all your photos there. You can write blog posts in the Facebook posts and everything like that. So just kind of, I think we're going to go through a checklist. So I'm going to kind of pass the ball back over to Erin here for Facebook for Business 101.
All right, so essentially there is a difference between a personal profile and a business page. Does everybody know that? Yes, big difference. In fact, Facebook can shut you down at any time if you're running a business through your personal profile. It is fairly easy to transfer them, but make sure you do that because you can lose all of your hard work. Just in case anybody doesn't have a business page or isn't quite sure if they've set everything up correctly, I do have a handy dandy checklist. I'm sure my coworkers are laughing right now because, hey, shocking, a list from Erin. So anyway, this just gives you a quick look of what you need to be doing and just best practices, including choosing your category. And guess what? Facebook changes all the time. In fact, since I've taken some of the screenshots from behind the scenes, things have changed. So the good news is that Facebook is really friendly in terms of taking me through. Oh yeah, in terms of taking me through. Let me grab more step-by-step tutorials. Here, yeah. Not really, but let me grab one more. All right. So just a quick checklist for everybody to look through. Got it. Let me grab one more of this, just so you'll see. Oh, there you go. All right. So just to breeze through this really quick, always follow Facebook rules and guidelines, making sure that you are in compliance. And making sure that you have a clear goal for your page, so especially that's important when you're looking at your content calendar. For example, for Pathway WBC, what's most important for us is having people sign up for events like this so that we can get you in the door, you can meet us, see that we're not scary, see that we can help you, and then get you into the right programming. So that's essentially the goal of our Facebook page. So that doesn't mean that's all we do, but that is the focus. So it's important to know what your goal is. Also, there's a difference between the name of your page and the vanity URL. The name of your page is, like Pathway WBC, that's, you can find us on Facebook, but the vanity URL is the actual web address that will take you to the Facebook page. So instead of it being facebook.com/company/6794QSB whatever, you can have it be facebook.com/pathwaywbc. Important note here. You can change your business name on Facebook up to 200 likes. After that, you have to submit a change request to Facebook. You don't want to have to deal with the Facebook help department. Coming from personal experience, they are a huge company and
Too much.
if you're lucky, if you want enough, which I have, but it takes a long time. But your vanity URL, you cannot change. You also can't have one that somebody else already has, so just be careful and think that through. So if you're thinking about changing your company name, you can change it, but again, you have to go through the change request form. And again, there's more notes on here, including picking your call to action button and what settings to turn on. So if anybody wants to look through this and has any questions at the end, we can answer any of them. Okay? So everybody clear on business page versus profile, page name versus vanity URL. All right, your Facebook page is set up. Let's talk about what to post. Passing it back to you, Paul.
Awesome. So here's what we're going to kind of walk you guys through in terms of best practices on posting, content calendar activity, and the ability to potentially use some tools to schedule posts. So first, real quick, since Will mentioned I'm big on the data, I think we're all bought into using Facebook, but just in case you're not, the point is really that the data shows that every business's audience's attention is on Facebook, meaning like no matter what kind of business you are, no matter who your target audience is, just the sheer volume in the targeting options of an ad, which we'll show you later, your audience will be there. And it'll be there at a larger scale than any other platform, which is really why we're having the class tonight. So understanding that there's a lot of different tools within Facebook. There's a tool called the Audience Insights tool, and you can just Google Facebook Audience Insights tool, and you can find out, you can type in an example of someone who might be your target demographic or your target user persona for your business, and just have fun with it, play around with it, and you can literally see how many people in a geographic area that are target customers of yours are on Facebook. And so these are just kind of some screenshots of what you can see about them. Why start with Facebook again when you compare Facebook to other social media platforms? It just has the largest audience. Cost per audience attention is something that I'm big on, because especially as basically many of you are probably just single person marketing departments that also do everything else for your business. So when you're trying to make a decision on how to spend your money, Facebook cost per audience attention, my team and I have done a little bit of research around what does it look like to buy an outdoor ad, a TV ad, or a radio spot. These can be very effective forms of marketing, but when you look at the media spend, the Facebook cost per audience attention in terms of how much money you might put, say, even $5 behind a boosted post or $50 behind an ad, you're going to be able to reach the same amount of people more times and prove that in the data that you would see in your ROI numbers in the Facebook platform than you would on any other media platform. So again, just kind of don't want to spend too much time on this, but why we're here tonight. Now into the content, and Aaron, feel free to kind of jump in here as well. But we want to walk through some different ways to engage your audience, because when Facebook first started, it was just basically the text status update platform, and then it kind of moved into photos. Now video is huge, and we're going to talk to you tonight about tools like Canva, C-A-N-V-A, where you can actually create like these kinds of graphics for basically no money. You become a Photoshop designer. Like, it's basically like giving you a decade's worth of Photoshop skills without needing to pay for Adobe, and just being able to jump right into Canva, use some templates, even some stock photos, put your logo on there, and basically build infographics or more engaging posts. So
I actually just taught my 70-year-old father to use Canva, and he still signs every text message, "Love Daddy." So he's not tech savvy, but gets Canva. Anybody can do it.
it's an amazing tool. And so we're going to talk about like how to do some videos, blogs, articles, infographics, polls, how to use some of the tools that are in Facebook. And then one big topic that I'm big on, which will come on the content calendar that Aaron's passing out, is how to get unstuck, which basically also means how to get started. Because I think that's like the biggest challenge is, what do you even talk about? Like, I think the biggest thing that business owners like us don't necessarily realize is what's interesting, what's not interesting to us is really interesting to our target audience. It's kind of the same thing as like watching a documentary or a reality TV show. A lot of documenting what you're doing can help get you unstuck. But here we're talking about just engagement, asking your readers a question. This happens to be a jewelry, it's a single person, basically a single person business that makes teething necklaces, jewelry, fashion brand, local to Nashville, and they, working on content like, asking what you want your reader to do, what you want your audience to do in terms of putting something together, in this case, like a lost sleep calculator for parents, turning this into something like a poll, or asking the user to share it if they happen to be having this particular problem, would be a way to make some engaging content here out of something very simple. Specifically asking followers what you want them to do. So instead of just posting a photo or posting a status update, literally just something as simple as asking them, do they like this? Why do they like it? And then asking what their favorite thing is about it, or tell us your favorite version of this. Just little simple tactics like that. A couple other just examples from local Nashville businesses and people that we've worked with. Asking someone to go ahead and tag, in this case, tag an Army wife, we salute you. Throwback Thursday for the Nashville Fashion Alliance. What fashion trend are you ashamed of that you've participated in, kind of poking fun at yourself? And then a local, actually, company that sells tape, just kind of going out and finding, we've all, as users of social media platforms, when you're kind of kicking back and relaxing later at night, you see like a funny meme or a funny post, going out and getting something like that that's relevant to your business, and just basically copying what somebody else has already done and saying, giving them a little bit of credit for it, but engaging your audience with just kind of a funny picture. But the key is kind of saying, tag someone who you think would do this type of activity. So real quick on hashtags, you guys have probably seen, how many of you like actively use Facebook or Instagram just as a user? So that's awesome. So on Facebook and on Instagram, hashtags are used very differently. And we know this from experience. So on Facebook, I would use hashtags as a way of kind of organizing your content, and use maybe 2 to 3 maximum in a post. So just general best practices. So if you're going to be posting, and in this exercise we'll do in a little bit, you might be thinking through, here are 3 things that I want to be able, like 3 topics that are relevant to my business that I want to post about in a month. You might use a hashtag to kind of organize that, because then if you click on that hashtag, you're going to be able to see all the content that was organized under that category and maybe distribute that in an e-newsletter or use it as a tool for your business. It's not going to necessarily be a way on Facebook to grow your audience. On Instagram, however, it's definitely a tool to grow your audience, because the user behavior on Instagram is to go and search in the explore function for hashtags. So on Instagram, we recommend using 10, 11, 12, 13. The limit, I think, is 30 hashtags if you use an Instagram post. At data-driven design, you can see I'm guilty of using probably up to 30 from time to time. But anyway, so hashtags on Facebook. You got a question up here?
Do you ever use the feature on Instagram where you can post from Instagram and it sends it directly to your Facebook profile page?
So yes, I do that from time to time. The one thing that we want to make sure of when we automate posts like that is like the feature that I use on Instagram is on a per post basis. That little slider where you tap it and then slide over the little blue slider, like, do you want to send this to Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr, I think is the other one. So I always just kind of ask myself, like, if I'm going to do that, what am I going to write in the Instagram caption or in the Facebook caption that would send it to Instagram? And is that going to be sort of native to that platform? So in other words, like, if I'm going to make a post on Facebook, am I going to write something that would make sense for an Instagram user and vice versa? And if not, then I'll just post them separately, because the user on Instagram will know that it was automated from Facebook, and it's not likely to be engaged with at a high enough level. Does that make sense? Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah.
So you want to just kind of think through, like, I'm going to do it, I can do it, but I only want to automate it to a tweet if the first 280 characters of it are going to read like a native tweet. And if not, then I'm just going to go to Twitter and post it.
And this could be wrong, but so if you see one of our most recent posts on Facebook is actually on the At the WDC page, it is an Instagram post, but I just went in, clicked the 3 little dots on Facebook, and edited the post to add a hyperlink, because you can't have a hyperlink in your Instagram post. You just have to say, like, link in profile for all of our events. Well, that doesn't make sense on Facebook, because there's not a link in your profile. Well, there is, it's a website, but anyway. The point being that you can update Facebook posts that have been pulled over from Instagram after they're up. Just do it immediately.
That's a perfect example. That's exactly what I mean when I say, and that's a great point, because you can go over into the other platform, in this case Facebook, and make sure that it's looking like a Facebook post, basically. So just real quick, I'll kind of go through some important points on video for Facebook. Facebook Live is killing it. It is like getting, just on the data side of things, I'll just tell you, there's an example later on in the slide deck. A company that's posting, just a small business in Spring Hill, Tennessee, that's posting a static photo on Facebook and getting 30 to 40 engagements, or even less than 20 engagements on that post, posts a Facebook Live video and gets 250, 350, up to 1,000 views and engagements on a Facebook Live video. Part of that is because Facebook is pushing Facebook Live heavily, but as marketers, basically like CEOs that are also marketers and everything else for your business, when you think about, if I'm going to spend 15 minutes of my day doing something on Facebook, that I could be using that 15 minutes to do something else, getting your phone out and doing a Facebook Live is going to be a much better spent 5 to 15 minutes than taking a photo or taking, say, 5 photos and debating which one to pick and then posting that. You're just going to get a lot more bang for your buck in terms of like return on your time for that time spent. And something as simple as like a tool rental store, like filming the young niece of the owner in the back room playing with like a power washer that's not turned on, like documenting what's happening at your business that you don't think anyone cares about actually ends up being a way of telling your story just to get started on producing content. So that's where, and then some of the other stuff I won't read to you, but customer of the week and highlighting an employee, things like that are also good ways to go. But if you can think of that through like the live video, and then to Aaron's point, you can go back and edit the live video later. So if you want to, like, you can go live, post it to your page, and then go back to your page later and add like the description for what was happening and add your hashtags, tag other people that were in the video and things like that. Those are going to be good best practices. So this is like thinking like a media company or thinking like an entertainment company. So we put this up here. If you want to talk to people while they consume their entertainment, you need to be their entertainment. Just kind of that thought process. And don't put too much pressure on yourself to be funny or entertaining. Just document what you're doing. The data shows that when you do that, it's enough to drive really solid engagement. So we talk about entertaining, informing and interacting also come before selling. So I think this is an important point. Breaking through the noise and the clutter as a business on Facebook, don't post about what you sell or what deals you have. You want to post about who you are, what your story is, who you partner with. Always give credit to others and talk about others before you talk about before you talk about yourself and what you sell. Give away your knowledge, give away your tips, your advice. Those types of posts are going to be the ones that make your target audience connect to you and then come back and they'll want to buy from you. You got a question in the back or comment in the back?
I've heard that the way the algorithm works now is that if you don't boost your post, it's not going to show up in anyone's feed.
Because there's so much content.
So
it's the minimum $5 to boost a post. So if you're, is there any other way around it? Like I heard you can actually share it on your personal page, but you have to be careful about doing that because, like you said, you can't do business on your personal page. So
yeah,
it's really expensive if you want to stay on social media and post every day or every other day or whatever.
So that's a great question. A lot of that's true. I'll just kind of break it down. So what we've seen, we've started with a lot of businesses just from nothing, no followers, brand new business, brand new page, how do you grow your following, that sort of thing. What we see is that when you go from posting once a month to posting once a week, your followers grow, just sort of steadily. And then when you up that post frequency to 2 or 3 times a week, then your followers grow even more. When you up that post frequency to 2 or 3 times a day, you start to get your followers grow by, the numbers are in here somewhere, I'm not going to make them up, but it starts to look more like a hockey stick chart the more that you post. Then you get to the point where you absolutely plateau and you're not growing your following as much through just the organic posting. So what we start to do with our clients and with our business is we start to boost every post. We don't boost every post, but we start to boost the posts that the organic data shows are doing better than the other posts by $2, $3, $4, $5. You can boost the post for less than $5. You just have to play with the date range a little bit. But you can boost the post for $2, get far more engagement off of it. And then, because that does get expensive, what we recommend doing is running a page like campaign. So you run like a $200 a month page like campaign, targeting your audience. That's growing your following, and then you just post organically without having to boost every post. Because to your point, if you're posting 2 or 3 times a day, or even 2 or 3 times a week, that'll add up more than $200 a month to boost every post. But we've grown our following and our clients' following on Facebook exponentially just by running like a solid fixed budget page-like campaign targeted at our audience, and then posting organically 2, 3, 4 times a day, scheduling those out so it's very manageable to do. But you're right, it is a pay-to-play platform, like no doubt about it. You do have to plan around budgeting a little bit of money towards that.
I got
So,
your numbers up here.
thank you so much. Here it is. So a little bit different for Facebook and than it is for Instagram, but on Facebook, when you increase your post frequency by 3 times, you increase your post engagement and reach by 200% or more. This is real data from our clients. And then Instagram, 1 to 3 times per day, using 5 or more hashtags in each post. Also, another, like, kind of bouncing back here between Facebook and Instagram, owned by the same, they're both owned by Facebook, but they're completely different platforms, obviously. A great Instagram strategy is to go, and I'm stealing this from Gary Vaynerchuk, who's one of the, you like Gary V? All right, awesome. He's my guy. So he says that when, and I know this from experience, I do this all the time, when you go leave an intelligent comment on an Instagram feed or post from anyone who's relevant to your business or what you're trying to achieve, when you go leave an intelligent comment on their posts, and you do, he says to do it, I think it's like 90 times a day, which is kind of ridiculous, but you're leaving your 2 cents on 90 different posts. He calls it the $1.80. So you're like the $1.80 theory. It works. Like, nothing grows your Instagram following more than finding people that you and accounts that you actually like. You like their content. You have something to add. This is your subject matter expertise. It's your jam. You go comment on their posts. Don't leave like a clap emoji or a fire emoji or whatever. Like, actually put something that's like of value, like 2, 3, 4 sentences. People will follow you because you stand out amongst all those emojis. So then they go follow you, and that's a good way to build up an organic following. So this data with those best practices goes hand in hand in building that following. The bottom bullet point here is important because I think a lot of times people will question, like, well, man, you say 3 to 5 times a day, like that's crazy. But it's kind of like fitness. It's like it sucks at first, but then once you start doing it, it's actually good. Like, you actually get into it and it becomes your routine, and it's not like, then you like it after a while. And the reason why, though, is because of the algorithm. So you mentioned the algorithm. So you're not being seen all the time by the people even that follow you. You're being seen about 1/3 of the time by the people that follow you on both of these platforms. So the 3 times a day, the 3 or more times a day, is basically just so that you're seen once per day by the people that follow you. So it's just playing the game. It's more at-bats in the game to be seen, is what it is.
Is that the same post or a different type of post?
Different type of post, yeah. Yeah, I would do different type of posts. Like, I think you can theme it out though, right? Like, I do something that like is just kind of a documenting. I call it yesterday. I don't really know how well it's working yet because I just started it a couple weeks ago. But I'm just basically like posting on what I did yesterday. And it's just like a recap, like this is what I did yesterday. And so that's a theme, right? And then another theme could be like just like every week you might want to post a motivational quote on Instagram, something that motivates you. Then another theme might be, I'm gonna repost somebody else's stuff once a week, you know? And the more of those themes you can build up, that will be that content calendar. I think some ideas for that content calendar that we passed out. I do something called the data-driven daily tip, where it's like, I just take every question that I get asked, something that I just solved during my day, which we all do. Could be the frequently asked questions section of your website, just repurposing that. And just having that be like a content theme that goes out. So it wouldn't be the same post to your question multiple times in a day, but it could definitely be the same theme. And you can repost your own stuff from like months prior. You know, I mean, that's another thing you can do to kind of get unstuck. So. All right, Aaron, I'm like dominating here.
So I guess here is a look at a more advanced editorial calendar. So say once you hit the big bucks and you have a bigger team, then you can tag other people in like we do here sometimes. Like I'll have Mason or Felicia write a very technical post about, hey, what's the 4 most common business structures? Not my area of expertise, but they can contribute and it's really helpful. And then their family sees that their article was posted and it will go nuts. But this is a way to kind of go next level organizing it. And like Paul said, you can build out themes and kind of get your rhythm going and really organize your audience reach in archival links. So in short, it's just keep in mind that Facebook cares about the user experience. They don't, not so much you, no offense. So think like a user and a marketer. So my favorite part of this whole presentation is that thought of when's the last time you actually clicked on a Facebook ad or a sponsored content post? What would make you click on something? Not I have to sell all the time because people will lose interest. And then again, if no one interacts with you, no one will see your content. We've gone over that. So you can have all the followers in the world, but if no one's interacting with your content, people will stop seeing it. So, time for an activity. We're gonna write your content calendar for April, for Facebook only. Once you get more advanced, then we'll start with your blog and then roll that into your Facebook, roll that into your Twitter, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, and then into your email calendar marketing. But this time we're just gonna focus on Facebook. So in front of you, you have your content calendar. I've added a couple of days of either celebration or notice or national holidays. So you always want to keep those in mind. If you're in a specific field, say your B2B, Administrative Professionals Day is this month. We also have National Small Business Week, so that's a huge one for everybody in this room for a very good reason. So there is a hashtag, an entire campaign, National Small Business Week, that the SBA puts out. They put a lot of money behind it, so you can piggyback off of a successful marketing campaign. So I do want everybody to spend maybe 3 to 4 minutes. Just let's start with everybody do 4. Write out some post ideas that you could use, that you could post to your new business Facebook page or your existing business Facebook page over the next few weeks. Okay?
Go for it.
So
You got a
just-
question back there?
Yeah, so just write what we will post on what day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Aaron dropped some good tips there for you. Another thing is, I think there's like something every day. If you Google like random holidays or like, you know, random days,
I think tomorrow-
national
Don't go
days.
to work day unless it's, or yeah, don't
There's
go to work unless
something
it's fun
every
day.
day.
Yeah.
So that could be one of your 3 posts a day.
There was National Puppy Day, and we posted a meme of a puppy trying to type on a computer, and he said, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's a really cute meme. But and then we tied it back to ourselves by saying, sometimes we feel like this too, we think every entrepreneur does, let us know how we can help. Hashtag National Puppy Day. So like that kind of thing.
I actually don't know what a boomerang is.
I guess
Do one right now.
we're gonna do one right, I have my phone down right here. All right, so what I want everybody to do is to look at me. And
Put your calendar up.
yeah, put your calendar up and wave it in the air. Have I mentioned how much I love you, Itzel? All right, wave them back and forth really hard. Perfect. All right, let's stand by. I will get this posted. In the meantime, keep working.
So to answer your question though, it's it's an app created by Instagram. So within the Instagram app itself, you can it's like a 5-second video or 6-second video. It's, and it just loops, it repeats.
Okay.
So any kind of movement, like the movement of the calendar, will look really cool in the app.
And it's just a free app you download on your phone, and then you connect all of your social media accounts.
And you just basically like post it right. You know, you can create a boomerang, save it, and then just like immediately put it into a post, or save it down to use as just an animated image, but really it's a video. Question in the back.
Yeah, have you found that a story works better on a certain day, or advertising works better on a certain day when you post it, or maybe a quote works better on a certain day? Has that been nailed down yet? When that works, what day, what works better?
Yeah, definitely on a business by business basis. No like hard and fast rule where we've said like, okay, for all businesses, Wednesday at 8 p.m. is the best time. But generally, so you'll be able to figure it out we'll show you kind of some of the insights tools in Facebook to where you can just easily go see what that is for your business. And then you can schedule your posts around those times. I mean, anecdotally, the leisure times of the day typically work the best. So lunchtime, before lunch, after work, 6 to 8, 6 to 9, 10 p.m. usually work really well, and early in the morning. So typically like
When people wake up and check their phone.
when people wake up, check their phones, go to lunch, and come home from work. But it will vary. Like they'll definitely be, depending on what kind of business you have and who your audience is. You might see in your data that there's like a hot spot where it makes more sense to post.
It's so cute.
There's a boomerang.
Yeah, and everybody's like, you know, smile, all laugh. You just want to stop people.
So if Aaron goes back in later and like tags everyone that was in, like everyone in the room, then all those tagging everyone's page will help the Pathways page get far more engagement off of that, because in theory everybody shares it, likes it, comments on it, and then as Facebook sees that happen, its algorithm kicks in and says, okay, all 38 business pages or even some personal pages in this room clearly like Pathways lending content, so next time she serves something up, you're more likely to see it than if she didn't tag you in it and you didn't engage with it.
All right, does anybody have any more questions on your content calendar? Does anybody want to volunteer an example of one of their posts?
I only got one.
All right, it's
For Easter, I put.
Will you tell us what your business is?
Oh, hi. I'm Excel Gonzalez. I do photography and I specialize in children photography. So for April 1st, Sunday, Easter, I post a picture of Aaliyah, which is my daughter, and I use her a lot as my baby model. I post a picture of Aaliyah holding this pink egg. So she has this little egg that she looks so cute. And I was just gonna put Happy Easter and then use some hashtags.
Yeah. Okay.
Love that. Personal always works really well.
And cute little kids work too.
Yep.
And you got one. All right.
My name is Shayna Berkeley. I have the Fashion Chase, which is a styling business. I do personal styling. And so the idea was to post, I have a YouTube page, so to repost my YouTube videos, different days, and also tips about styling, like hacks and tricks, how to cover your jeans or how to, dress for work and things like that.
Hashtag OOTD every day.
I love that too. Educational works very well too. Joy with you in the back here.
I'm Hickey. I do that testing beauty studio. So April 4th is National Walking Day, and I looked up the national days for April. So Nathan gave me the idea to post a picture of me walking and say, walk. Again, I'm gonna say something about walking and getting your lectures and rides done. Come in my smell or something.
I like it.
I love
Hashtag
these
National
examples.
Walking
These are
Day.
all perfect. So on that one, that's a perfect example. I would also go, when you make that post, do a little bit of research, look around, even check Twitter. Twitter can help you kind of like find it faster and then go find their Facebook page. On like what companies have or what organizations have a larger following than you that are also posting about that kind of content on that day, and then tag them or go comment on their Facebook posts.
Share their Facebook
Share
posts.
theirs, yeah.
Well, we chose Earth Day.
Okay.
'Cause
You want to tell us your business?
My business is called Dare Dream Foundation, which DREAM is an acronym for Dance with Expanded Artistic Minds. It's a performing arts nonprofit for high school students to transition from high school to college. So I take them on Dream College, well, it's called Dream College Tour. So I take them on college tours to different dance auditions or dance workshops, technique workshops from their actual schools for free. So I help them find a home for college to call their own.
So I chose Earth Day and I post with different dancers from different nationalities, and it's called Dance Around the World. So it's gonna be hashtag Earth Day Dance Around the World energy.
Love it. That's awesome. Very good.
My name is Jamal. April is Financial Literacy Month. So I run a financial service firm, teach people how to save money, make money, tax-free retirement, all the good stuff. So pretty much every day give a tip for financial literacy.
Love it.
Yeah.
Really smart.
Yeah.
Every day.
You should have a blog post about each
That'll be
day
good.
or on your website.
Post frequency.
Yeah.
Will?
Tax day. I'm gonna do like a picture of like a stressed out looking kitty. You know, like just knock something over, something silly like that, and talk about, you know, the importance of getting your taxes in on time if you're a small business or something like that, tying it back to us. Want to know more about your taxes or, you know, getting your business started, yada, yada, yada.
That's awesome. Perfect. These are great. You guys just built an awesome. If you take what everyone just said, like that could be, like that could be all your themes right there. I mean, that's kind of hit a lot of the good ones.
So who wants to get into how creepy Facebook is? Okay.
Can I move on? Can I ask a quick question? And you all may be getting to this, but is there like an online content calendar, like it's like an electronic version of this that you would recommend, or?
Google Calendar.
I'm a huge fan of Trello. It's not
Okay.
a calendar per se, but you can set it up where it's like this month and then have the to do, doing, done.
Okay.
And like literally title it with what
Yeah.
date you're gonna do it. And it's click and drag and it's free. It's TRELLO.com. I recommend it if whatever project management stuff you're doing, notebook wise, or, you know, putting in a Google Doc, shift it to Trello.
Can you spell it one more time, sorry?
TRELLO.
Certified Scrum Master coming through.
Yeah, my background's in software project management, and Trello is the bomb.
Also came to sound Buffer
Yeah.
is one that is a good one that will help you schedule out posts.
And we're passing around a cheat sheet just of everything, most of the things we talk about today in terms of tools and resources. I mean, there's a ton. There's Hootsuite. A lot of them are paid services.
Yeah.
But what I do, because we're a nonprofit, I just go in and I pre-schedule everything for like the week ahead, on a good week. I get in and I schedule everything a week ahead. So Facebook, they just let you pre-schedule everything. You pick when and how and all that. And then for Twitter, I use TweetDeck, which is, it's free. It's the same platform pretty much. Instagram, you have to, Instagram and LinkedIn you have to do, right?
Yep.
Unless you're using a paid platform to do when you're scheduling them, so.
There's one called, I mean, there's like, to Aaron's point, there's a million of these, but there's one that I just started using called Ripple, R-I-P-L, and it's basically for mobile. If you're just always out and about and always using your phone for posting, you can use Ripple to create content on your phone and schedule content on your phone on all the platforms. Even Instagram, so that's a good one. It's $10 a month,
So the premium is the scheduling one, the free one is not?
The free version, you can create some videos and some content, and then the premium will let you schedule the posts, yeah. And it's $10 a month. Question in the back?
Just to clarify, I know Instagram doesn't allow you, or doesn't like if you pre-schedule like using the bots, but Facebook you can. Is that not a thing?
Yeah, pretty much, that's exactly right. So Facebook, you can go right into the desktop platform and you can schedule out as many posts as you want and as far out in advance as you want, and that's awesome. To your point earlier, like you can integrate those into Instagram. That's one way of doing it. This app that I was just mentioning, Ripple, is actually like a way to schedule on Instagram as well, but it's $10 a month, so. It's valuable though because it'll help you create some videos out of, it'll help you create animations out of your photo roll, your camera roll, so that's really neat.
All right, I'm gonna try and move through this fairly quickly, and we're gonna tag team this section. So Facebook advertising, we're gonna learn how to build your advertising audience, and then talk about boosting versus advertising. I know you've probably seen, do you wanna boost this post versus starting an actual ad from scratch? And then we're actually gonna get started and then talk about measuring what works. I've started with the audience just because it's something you're going to have to decide as you go through the ad creation process. So there are other ways to create ads, but I'm going to go over two. So for creating, let me back up. In Facebook, when you start your business page, everybody has an ads manager platform. It's really user-friendly. Facebook has launched so many video tutorials now, and even just step-by-step wizards to take you through the whole thing. It's great. So today we're going to talk about when you get into that ads manager and you start your ad, one of the first things you'll have to do is to pick who you want to see this ad. So we're going to look at custom audiences and then lookalike audiences. So when you build a custom audience, this is when you can target people based on their online behavior, their connection to your page or lack thereof, where they live, how old they are, their interest, their behavior, their location, age, gender, languages, and then you can dig even further into household income, who their employer is, their race, their age, and what they do. And we're going to dig in a minute and actually do that live through the Pathway WDC page. So that's a custom audience, and then you save your audience for next time. So, for example, Kiwi, I'm going to use you as an example. You help people keep a life transition organized, correct? So, parallel solution. So you could target someone who recently went through a life change, recently moved, has a certain income level, it has a certain familial status, and target only them who are within a 25-mile radius with your ad. Pretty creepy, right?
And who are fans of your competitors.
Yes, forgot about that. And then you just want to save that audience and name it appropriately, but we'll go over that in a minute. So that's a custom audience. And then when you talk about building a lookalike audience, does anybody have a list of good customers or people who bought from you online or an email subscription list? Pretty much anyone who if you could literally clone them and have them buy from you in the future, that's who we're talking about. So if you have a list of 100 of those people, all you need is their first name, their last name, and their email address. When you load them into Facebook, they don't get contacted. They'll never know that they're on a Facebook lookalike list. God knows how many I'm probably on. But all you need, again, is a spreadsheet, a CSV, or Excel format. And it's their first name, last name, email address, upload at least 100 contacts. I like to clearly label where I got the list so that when I see that upload, I know where it is. So 2018 purchasing customers from January to April. So what you're going to do is to upload that, and if you see here, customer file, right here. That's what we're looking at. So first of all, you're going to upload the list, then you're going to match the fields. So generally it's first name, last name, again, email, so that it can match your columns to your email addresses. Yes?
Could you, so I can follow along with this, like where did you get to create custom, like?
Are you in your ads
I'm in
manager?
an ads manager.
I'll show you.
Click the,
Let's just go live. How about
You
it?
do the hamburger menu over the top left, and then audiences. Yep. And then,
Oh, I love that. I'm so sure.
okay, and then create audience,
Gotcha.
So from your home page,
custom audience, do custom. And then this is where it asks you to, so that was the screen, and then if you have customer file.
ignore anything you see on my personal Facebook page. You do need a personal Facebook page to launch a business page. All right, so on your home, you should have a link to your ads manager over here on the left. Click on that. This is really hard to do from this angle. All right, so you can click on this little hamburger icon and then go to all tools right here. And you go all the way over here to audiences. All right, so you can see here, this is a test lookalike audience that I uploaded earlier. I took our event platform, exported all of the names and email addresses of everybody who's come to an event in the past 12 months, and then re-uploaded it into this system. So then you can see, and I matched them 3% and I labeled it. So here you go. You can tell me when I did it, all that good stuff. So then when you go to create an ad, and Paul will be getting into this in more detail. You'll be picking your objective, and you're going to go over this, right?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the
Okay, so you're going to pick all of that, and then you'll go into your audience and pick, come on, Facebook. All right, so you can see in here, I want to do a lookalike audience, test lookalike audience, and then I can add people who live in this location, edit locations, and I can add, I only want to target people, shout out a city.
Chicago.
Okay. Chicago. All right, Chicago plus 25 miles. I want to put on ages 18 to 65. No, probably want to do more like 22. We'll leave it at 65. And then detailed targeting. And here's where we talked about a little bit where you can get a little bit creepier. Go into demographics. Let's go into financial. People whose net worth, look at that. So you can get in there and drill all the way in there. And then you can also look at life events. Keely, this is for you, being a life change manager. So you can say moved away from their hometown, long distance relationship, newly engaged. I mean, come on, I have a bridal studio in here, don't I? Yeah. There
Also,
you go.
like, type in like chiropractor or something like that, or like something random. Because if you're a B2B company that sells
Veterinary
products
chiropractor.
that chiropractors would buy, like you can target to just, or veterinary chiropractors. You do by job titles, by company names and job titles, so it's pretty awesome.
Pretty creepy. And then you can add more into add connection type. So people who like your page, friends of people who like your page, or if you don't want, you want to add more people to your page, like that would be for a great Facebook like campaign. You would want to exclude people who already like your page. And then you want to save that audience. So that is a peek behind the curtain. Is anybody creeped out, overwhelmed?
No, it's great. With the custom, the lookalike audience, building your own custom, is there like you said upload 100, list of 100 people, is that like a max or minimum or?
That's typically a minimum. We were actually talking about this right before class started. Facebook will kick it out, keep your list out if it's not big enough.
Gotcha.
So just start with what you have.
So like taking my MailChimp email list of 800
That's perfect.
people.
And actually,
that's
Facebook
perfect.
integrates with MailChimp, so you can just connect them.
Perfect.
Not
And
any
you'll
other
see like your
email
lookalike can be, so it'll match up however many you have a Facebook profile, and that'll be your list, and then
Right.
you can create a lookalike off of that, and your lookalike might be 3 million. Something far larger than 800 or 600.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So then when you get into the creepiness, you want to keep your targeting over here and kind of in the green, close to specific, and again, Paul will go over this more in a minute, closer to specific but in the green because you want to talk to people who are specifically interested in you because that's more bang for your buck. It makes more sense to talk to someone who's actually interested in custom lighting than to talk to people who are just interested in restaurants, right? So again, your lookalike audience is ready to use, and then you add the layers on top of that. Okay, other audience options, and I'm just going to mention these. You can target people based on what they clicked on your Facebook page, and then also on website traffic. So that's where the Facebook pixel comes in, and it's a line of code that you put onto your website. But I can see some eyes glassing over, so we're not going to talk about that tonight. That's probably a class in and of itself. And also there are tons of tutorials online that can be helpful. Question in the back? Nope, Felicia's just stretching. Okay. That's all right, girl. I got you. All right, back to you, Paul.
Awesome. That was a great overview. So I'm going to break this down a little bit because as you can see, this is like the most powerful digital ad platform that any one person has just been handed and said, hey, you can do all this for free, like just go, right? Like it's super powerful. So just think through, like, first of all, budget out like 10 hours of time to just play around with this. And like, just play around with it, build audiences like Aaron showed you. You can't really mess that up. And then you can create ads without them running. So like, just create drafts of ads and like get the feel for, if I were to have a piece of creative or a photo or a boomerang that I think would appeal to this section of my audience, like just go and practice creating an ad, and you can save the ad for later. You can at least save the audience for later for when you're ready to run that ad. I mean, I do this for a living, but I played around with, like, I learned on the job for like a year before I felt good enough coming and charging anybody for it or teaching classes on it and stuff. So definitely budget like 8 to 10 hours of your time just to try to figure it out. And that'll go a long way, because that exercise will also get you thinking, okay, I could pay $10 to try to generate some business to this other type of audience. Or, you'll kind of start thinking that way. So it's a good mental exercise. And then Aaron showed you a screen with marketing objectives. So this is actually really important. I would break it down, I like to break it down into phases. So, and I'll take a minute and kind of talk about the difference between this and boosted posts, because now we're into ads. So this is different than boosting a post. Think about boosting a post as like really short term. Like, I just put out a piece of content, I want more people to see it. To your point, put $5 behind it if it's really something that you're proud of and you want to try to set. You can do the same targeting stuff. So you can say, if I post this organically, only a third of the people that follow my page are going to see it. But if I can boost it to the same types of audiences that we were showing you. But think of that as like a week. Whereas an ad can be a month, a quarter, 6 months, etc. You can run an ad for that long and it can stay relevant. So you're thinking of like more long-term content that people can engage with. And so for that reason, we break this down into phases where we have like, and this is just kind of some more targeting here. But in terms of the phases of our ads,
There we go.
phase 1 is awareness. And I typically ballpark this out for at least 3 months. And this is where you're going to go in and you're going to pick anything under that awareness objective, and that's going to be on the left-hand side. So again, just to kind of back up and recap, when you click create ad, either from where Aaron showed you or from, there's a green button up in the top right that says create ad in Ads Manager. It's going to ask you, first thing it's going to ask you is choose your marketing objective. All of you are probably going to want to pick, for the first ad that you run, you're just going to try to generate some awareness to a target audience. So you're going to want to go under that awareness category and pick either reach or impressions. And this is where you're going to go, like, start simple. You can just go geographic area, like she showed you Chicago. And that may be your first ad. Or, Mount Juliet, right? Or something like that. 25 miles around. But then if you know that, okay, I have like 3 different target audience personas, one's interested in X, one's interested in Y, and one's more interested in Z, you might have a piece of creative where you say, I'm gonna go into the audience targeting, I'm gonna run this X ad to this audience, and then I'm gonna end around this geographic area. So I would just think of those for your first ad. And then, but think of your ad as like really, your ad strategy is really like a 6 to 12 month strategy where you're gonna be running awareness ads for about the first 3 months. So that might be $50 a month. For some of you, that might be a little bit more than that. It doesn't have to be. That's again where we talked about the cost per audience attention. This isn't a platform where you have to buy a magazine ad for like $5,000 and wonder what it did for your business. This is like, try something for a lot less money and you're going to reach all those people. And if you wanted to buy the magazine ad, go into the targeting and type in people who are interested in this magazine and run an ad for $50 instead of buying the magazine ad for, the $5,000 ad. So phase 1, have some fun, let it fly, start to feel smart, gain some confidence and see what happens. Phase 2, you're going to start to pick, and this is where we're talking about like months 4, 5, and 6. Start to pick some of those middle objectives. They're called consideration objectives. So this would be where you would ask your target audience to connect with us on Messenger, or fill out a lead form off of our ad, or click through to our website. Whatever your call to action is going to be, it'd be kind of one of those 3. If any of you are like more of a tech company and you have a mobile app and you want to get some more app downloads, there's one called Download Our Mobile App. Question?
I'm a photographer,
Mhm.
so when I like for the awareness, I guess put a picture, just tell the world what I do. Will phase 2, like the call to action, would that be something like check out my portfolio at?
That would be more like book your mini shoot, right?
Yeah, it could be more. So whereas we talked about in the content section before you guys worked on your calendar, we talked about like don't sell, just provide value or entertainment or advice or education or personal, if you had a good personal post with your daughter. Now your ad is going to be more where you're going to have that element to your content, but you will have a call to action, especially in that phase 2, the consideration phase. That could be like Aaron saying, like, book a shoot, right? And you can make your button say learn more or book now, and that can link through to your URL on your website. Or if you don't have a website, or better yet, I can get into like another philosophy I have real quick if we have time later, but if you don't have a website, you can actually create a consideration ad that just asks the user to fill out their information right there in the ad, and then it sends it to you. So you don't have to ask a user to click through to a landing page anymore to fill out a form. You can just do it right there in the ad, or use Messenger, the Messenger call to action, like message us if you're interested in booking a shoot with us. So that would definitely be like a phase 2. And so the reason for phase 2 and phase 3 actually has to do with the pixel. So the Facebook pixel, like Aaron said, is a line of code. You put it in your website, and the reason why you put it in your website is because it's going to track who has been to your website before on all of the internet, not just Facebook. So you can now run a Facebook ad to people who already have some kind of level of brand awareness about you. And so that's where you're going to start to convert in phase 3. So the reason why we have phase 1 is because I'm making the assumption that nobody knows who you are. Like, you're just starting out your business, or you're just starting out on Facebook, or a lot of people already know, your current customers know who you are, but you're trying to grow your business, nobody else knows. You have a low level of awareness. So you go awareness, you build up more people who will then go to your website, and then more people. So if you've heard the term remarketing, it's basically remarketing in phase 3. So phase 1, you're building up more of an audience. Phase 2, you're getting more people to your website so that the pixel can see you. Phase 3 is where you start to convert them, because now you're sending, basically, you're advertising to more people in phase 1 and phase 2. You're advertising to a much smaller group in phase 3, but your conversion rates go up because it's super targeted. People who are, it's the bottom of your marketing funnel. People who already know that they're interested in purchasing from you. So you put the pixel, it takes 5 minutes to put the pixel in a website. That happens before you start running any of the ads. It doesn't have to, but it should. And then that's the main purpose of the pixel, because you can go in, and we can show you this. You can create the same custom audience that we showed you, but you can say, create it off of the pixel, and then there's an option that will say, people who have already visited my website, or people who have visited this exact page on my site. Those are the people you're running the ads to in phase 3 that are more likely to buy from you.
In case you've ever wondered why that pair of high heels is chasing you around all over Facebook, the ones you saw and left in your cart.
That's literally why I bought these shoes, because I started seeing these shoes all over Facebook, and then I had to buy them. I had them in my cart at Nike.com, and Nike knew that I had these in my cart, and they were running it off the pixel. And I converted because I kept seeing it. I was like, I did want to buy that pair of shoes.
Where do you find the pixel?
Okay, we can show. Is that something we can show? Yeah.
If it's overwhelming, then I'll just try to do it.
No, it's so it's kind of under where, yeah. So it's under the same spot that we showed you, and then under pixels up here.
Okay.
And then it'll basically say, like there should be a green button down at the bottom that says.
And then that code, you put it in your website?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, or better yet, like if it says email to a developer, you can email it to yourself, and then you can. So do you have a website?
I do.
What's your website built on? Shopify, WordPress?
WordPress.
Okay. So WordPress, there's a plugin for it.
Okay, cool.
There's also several plugins that will allow you to put it in. So one's called headers and footers. That's actually a really safe one. Like anyone with a WordPress site, get the plugin called headers and footers, and then you put the pixel code that you emailed to yourself, just paste it in the header and save it, and then it's in your site.
So avoid all the plugins on WordPress that are like your Facebook pixel manager and
yeah, there's that. You can do any of those.
There's tons of those.
There's tons of those, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them just only the pixel ID, put that in,
Yeah.
it's in there, yeah, exactly.
Does that work with Weebly?
Weebly should have an equivalent for that. Should have a way. We might have to talk offline later. I can help you out, but yeah, there should be. Okay, so my favorite slide with the poop emoji and the puke emoji. Go in with the expectations of not everything is gonna work. It's not gonna all be black and white. It's gonna be very much like a data game of, okay, this did well, this didn't do as well, I think this did okay. But just know that all of the objectives that you pick, those are gonna be the metrics you get. So in other words, if you're in that phase one, and you can be in phase one and pick a objective that's a consideration objective. Like you can say, I know that I'm just trying to get awareness, but I still want to run an ad that's going to give me data around how many people click through to my website. That's totally fine, as long as you have the expectations of, I'm just trying to build awareness in this phase. But if you pick, whatever objective you pick, that's going to be the data that you get. And we can break that down further if you have any more questions on that. But
Step by step.
creating
How
ads.
to create an ad. I'm gonna let you run with this.
Okay, so cool. So this is what I was talking about: awareness, consideration, conversion. One I forgot to mention that I geek out over is store visits. So that can be for any business where you're trying to track. You don't have to be a store, but any business where you want ROI numbers on how many people actually came to a physical location. So you can run an ad in phase 3, or it could be phase 1, but run an ad in phase 3 where you're expecting to convert. And then the metric in the back end of Facebook Ads Manager is going to show you, okay, you spent this much, here's how many impressions, and here's how many people actually visited your physical location. And that's based off of the mobile device, somebody that saw the ad on their mobile device and then walking into your physical location. So that's a way of like either holding yourself or your business partner, if your business partner is holding you accountable, oh, well, you spent $100, what did it really do for us or whatever. You can say, well, we got 50 people into our store. And that's better than any really other metric that you can get from any other ad platform that so I really like that one. Okay, creating an ad. So you've picked your objectives. We showed you a little bit about audience. This is an example of, all of these screens are going to kind of look the same. The first thing you're going to do is you're always going to build your audience first, and it's going to be the same group of questions that are on this worksheet. So one of them here that you can see, this is an e-commerce site, a screenshot from an e-commerce site that has had the Pixel installed, people have made purchases. So now we're saying we're going to run an ad to people who have already made purchases on this website, just to show you some more examples of what this can do. And then it starts to build your audience size over here on the right. Set your budget. One thing you want to be careful of is under this drop-down menu, you can do daily budget or fixed budget. Does this happen to you?
That's happened to me.
Yeah, this has happened to all of us. This totally happened to our team too, where if you pick daily budget but you think it's fixed, and all of a sudden on like day 2 you're like, I spent my entire budget. That's where you want to be careful. I would just go. I think it defaults to daily budget. Like change it to fixed, and that won't happen to you. Or you can actually schedule them. So the schedule, set a start and end date, and it'll tell you. You just make sure you read it. Don't go. That's why I said practice.
But just that word of caution, I just want to repeat that, making sure that your daily budget, you don't have that selected unless you're okay with your daily budget being $20 a day, because it'll just keep running until you get the invoice and freak out and then have to explain to your boss why you spent $375 on Facebook ads.
Exactly.
Oops.
It's personal experience.
Hypothetically, it happened to a friend.
Same here. It happens to everybody. Well, hopefully it won't happen to you. Now that you learn from our mistakes.
Yes.
Right? So then once you've built your audience, you're going to create your ad. And it's a really nice handy way of organizing it in Facebook Ads Manager where you can name each one of these elements. So you can name your ad, and you pick the page. If you're managing multiple pages, you pick the page that you want it to go to, but chances are you're just going to have one. You can decide to add your Instagram account if it's not already connected. This is where you can connect it to an ad. And then Facebook, the format, typically like a 1200 pixel wide image is going to fit really well into the single image space. But you can also do carousels, video. You can upload videos. You can make a video out of still images in the tool by doing slideshow, or you can feature a collection of images. And then you're going to get a certain amount of real estate to build your ad, and it'll preview your ad for you over here. So your news feed link description up at the top is gonna come down here, and it's gonna be, you have a character limit there. A display link, actually one thing on this screenshot is, it's only a display. So you should probably only do your URL, but you don't need to do like the slash something like we have in this is my screenshot, so put it in here like as a way of showing like, it's just a display, so keep it cleaner by not doing the slash after. And then under the actual link is where you put your URL in that the learn more button is gonna take the user to. But you can also change, there's a drop down menu down here underneath this where there's like 10 different options of what this button can say, so keep that in mind. And then you're just loading in like a 1200 pixel wide image, typically about 300 or 400 pixels tall, and it's going to give you some nice space. I would recommend thinking of about like 3 to 5 sentences up here above the image of where you can add some text to make it look more like an organic post. Because again, it's going to show up in somebody's news feed, and you want to make it look, it's going to say sponsored, but you want to make it look more like something that they would normally see in their news feed to kind of grab their attention. And also, as we all probably know, right, Facebook will kick back any creative that has too many words over the image. So if there's too many, their algorithm can read this really well. So even if you make an image with words over it and upload it as your picture, Facebook will kick it back to you if the ratio of words is too high for the image space. So that's why I would recommend writing out 3 to 5 solid sentences at the top. And then those are going to be the basics for creating the ad. The other thing you're going to want to do though is toggle through, like see how it says 3 of 12 up here? Toggle through all of those and see what it's going to look like on all the different devices. Because that's what that is. So this is a desktop preview, but the previous screenshot was a mobile phone preview. So
And if anyone's feeling overwhelmed by us saying like how many pixels wide or tall and everything needs to be, Facebook tells you, here's the measurements this ad size needs to be, and then you just scoot over to Canva and type in those exact dimensions, and then you just download the images that you create there. So it's not overwhelming. If I can do it, you can do it, I promise.
Yeah, that's a good thing to practice too while you're kind of working through your time on this, those 8 to 10 hours I was talking about. So the optimization and delivery, link clicks, conversions in this case, Facebook's saying recommended because it was that purchase objective. But you're going to want to pick something like link clicks or landing page views. Landing page views is going to be better because that's going to be Facebook. What this means, optimization and delivery, is it's Facebook saying we have an algorithm and you can use our algorithm to show your ad to people who are more likely to perform a certain action. So remember at the top we clicked purchase. So this is Facebook's way of saying if you select conversions off of that purchase that you had filled up at the top, our algorithm is going to show this ad to people who are more likely to purchase. But in your case, like let's say this is just link clicks or landing page views, that's a good thing to select because Facebook's saying we're going to show this ad to people who are more likely to click through to your website rather than just look at the ad. So this is another kind of tip that we want you to keep in mind is read through the optimization and delivery section and just pick the one that makes the most sense to you. Like don't feel like you need to overcomplicate it or anything. And I know I'm trying to be sensitive to time here. One thing I think we really wanted to show you is this, where so under placements, it's going to default to automatic placements and it's going to say it's recommended, and that's fine, you can go with that. But click edit placements just to double check, because this is where you can do an Instagram swipe up ad in a story. This is where you can be in a mobile app. Your ad can be in a mobile app that's running ads. This is where you can be in Messenger. This is where you can be in the Instagram news feed, things like that, and where you can select where you do it, where you want to be and where you don't want your ad to be. So if anyone has any questions on this, let me know, but I would just recommend, basically the takeaway is, as you're creating your ad, just quickly click through all of the different things that Facebook isn't saying is recommended and just read it. And use like your practice time doing that so you know what's possible. Because you might not want to run an Instagram swipe up ad tomorrow, but your brain might be thinking 3 or 4 months from now, wow, I've got some really good vertical video content that if I can only get somebody in my target audience to go to a landing page to learn more, that could be really cool. And you can get in someone else's as people are going through their Instagram stories of accounts they follow, your story ad can show as they're going through, and that's what that ad is.
I think we can get through measuring in about 6 minutes.
Totally.
Okay.
Measuring success. Okay. What's possible as you go into your business page and you click on insights in the top. So that top, now you're just on your page, and you'll see insights on the top, kind of over towards the left. So what I would recommend, you're going to get all tons of data. What I would recommend looking at is go down your left-hand menu. This is after you click insights, and just click on each one of these things and take a look at it. Because you can see here, remember earlier we talked about if you run a page like campaign for $200 in a month, and you're posting content organically, like this is what happens to your page likes. And you can quantify that. So if that doesn't happen to your page likes, maybe you're not doing it right, you need a little bit more help, or it's not working for you, you don't want to spend your money there. Now you know you have the data and you can kind of pivot. And then post reach is another good thing to look at, just kind of calling out the ones that are most important, I think. And you can kind of see paid versus organic, break all of that down. Remember your time, your time windows. So just kind of keep in mind, like going through the data, I always think, look at the date picker. Like make sure you look at what time frame am I looking at. And then look at likes, followers, reach. This is what it's going to look like. So earlier I said, based on the objective you pick, that's the kind of data you're going to get. That's this screen. So here we see like this ad right here that says traffic got 5 link clicks. It cost $1.60 per link click. This one down here was a video ad. It got 185,000 3-second video views. It costs a fraction of a cent to get each video view. So you'll have all the different kind of data based on the objective that you pick. This is Google Analytics, so it's probably for another time. But in Google Analytics, for all of you that have websites, Google Analytics is a free tool where you can also measure the amount of web traffic that's coming to your site from your Facebook and Instagram marketing efforts. This is also in Google Analytics where you can see, so the concept here is that you have access for free to a ton of data to quantify all of these efforts that you're doing on Facebook. Down to, if you think of how you purchase something or you fill out a form with your information on someone's website, I know when you purchase something, very few times do you go there and immediately make a purchase off of clicking off of a Facebook ad. But you might see it on a Facebook ad, click through, leave, remember that URL, come back later, check it out again, leave, see a Google AdWords ad, click on the AdWords ad, go, check it out again, leave, then go back again 4 more times by typing in the URL. The reason why I said all that is because you can actually see the path of how many times that happens. So again, quantifying your social media marketing efforts, you have access to all this in a free tool called Google Analytics, where you'll see Facebook show up in this path. So just to break down what I just said, like this, someone clicked on a Google AdWords ad, didn't convert, came back, same person came back by typing in the URL 2 different times, didn't convert, came back after searching on Google for it and finding it, came back, didn't convert, then came back again, typed it in, then converted, and spent $817. So you'll, like right here, clicked on a Google AdWords ad, didn't convert, came back on a social network, spent $2,124.
This is in Google Analytics?
This is in Google Analytics.
And what is this section called?
This is called assisted conversions. So if you have Google Analytics and you want to check out conversions and assisted top conversion paths is what this is called, top conversion paths. So it's important because again, like you're gonna, like you're not gonna know that your Facebook marketing efforts created X amount of conversions unless you also understand that this exists, and it's not critical, but it's under measuring awareness and measuring conversion, so we wanted to mention it. Bonus material, other fun social media. First questions? A lot of stuff.
Wait, yeah, when's part 2 through 10?
Yeah. So don't be overwhelmed after tonight. The most important part is to know what phase you're in. If it's just awareness, that's fine. And to just take baby steps. You know, we can share this PowerPoint with everybody and to start with building your audience. I do need Leslie to come up here real quick and close this out. But I mean, we can flip
What would be
through.
the one thing, what would be like the one thing you would do?
What would be the one thing I would do?
From tonight, like if nothing else.
One thing I would do would be to go ahead and schedule out a month's worth of Facebook posts or a week's worth of Facebook posts, and then do a Facebook like campaign for $10 to people in my DMO or based on my target market list.
That's exactly what I would do. So if you don't remember anything else from tonight, just do that. You'll be good to go.
So yeah, if you don't want to be advertising your Facebook page if there's nothing when people get there. So big takeaway, make sure your budget is set on a lifetime budget, not or schedule to start and stop, not daily budget. And then also just a word of advice to keep the political and the religious on your personal page, unless that's part of your organization.
Okay, so thank you everybody for coming. We are passing out evaluations. We are funded by the SBA and they appreciate when we do these, so we would appreciate it if you do it and leave it on the table, and we do look at them, we do care what you put in them. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Very good content.